Good ball strikers go forward, down, and under. And you see, amateur golfers miss this key move. Craig and I are going to show you a couple really great drills, a couple key feels to get you hitting the golf ball the best you ever have. Okay, Craig, so one of the things we see really great ball strikers do, what you said, forward, down, and under, which I think is a great mantra that the ball strikers that don't hit it as good don't do that. Awesome drill setup here. Can you guide us through what this drill is, how we set it up, and how we perform it?
Yeah, this is a great drill to create feels, body awareness, just get a guide, a gauge of where you need to be moving through the golf ball. Now, when we have a look, I've currently got an 8-iron in my hand here. So what I've done is I've got an 8-iron here in front of me, and I can line up my left foot on the end of this grip. Now, just bear with me just for a second so I can explain the angle of this tool stick. If this is 90 degrees, this being the 90, this being the 0, 80, 70, 60, 45, what we've done is we've got the alignment rod jammed into the ground at a 45-degree angle, with an 8-iron club length away from my left foot, and this will give everybody here the chance to see if you can do this in a way that you can feel moving through the golf ball. Now, what we do is when we take our address position, get in a realistic position, moving through the golf ball, to close up the gap of your knees, we're moving this lateral shift 4 to 6 inches here. 4 to 6 inches is the PGA Tour average. We're shifting forwards. The closing up of the knees helps us turn this forwards, down, and under. And if you can still touch this alignment stick, if you can still reach down, you're getting into the PGA zone. Now, if you can't touch it, then do the best you can with what you have. But it's a wonderful way to feel, to move, to shift. And as you're turning here, as this closes up, it's going to take pressure off your back. You start to get this appropriate amount of tilt and turn, which is essential for great ball striking.
Love that, Craig. So the forward, down, and under, the forward component, right, like you said, the lower body and hips 4 to 6 inches. Number one. Number two, we're closing the gap of the knees. And then number three, that kind of right shoulder and arm staying a bit more under. And Craig, you said with the right knee, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the right leg in the next segment, the right knee coming forward towards the left and closing the gap is actually a big move that helps get hip rotation.
Exactly. Like if we're standing here and I set myself up and I've got 0-degree hip turn, watch what happens when I bring this knee in. Now, when I get it to the level of the golf ball, you have to turn your hips. And looking around that corridor of 30 to 50 degrees hip turn, which is pretty big, but if we get our knee to the golf ball, you're going to open up your hips. This is one of those chain reactions, Eric, in the golf swing. We make a movement like this, we don't have to think, right? When we're turning, when people turn, they generally hit it worse because they turn level, they turn high, they can't touch the stick. Getting this knee to move forwards, this shifting forwards, down, and under, you get into that hitting zone, which just makes ball striking so much easier.
And we were saying before we started, like the good ball strikers are forward and under, and the bad ball strikers are back and over.
Back and high. We're seeing this right hip up here. And we said we have to get this right hip. This right hip, the PGA average is 7.5 centimeters. That might sound technical, but that's a fact. 7.5 centimeters lower than where it started. I mean, a lot of you guys understand that lowering, shortening this right side is essential as we're moving forwards. That's why when we start to move into this, holding this position, feeling this, we start to rewire, refire, and creating great feels.
And Craig, getting into the trail side and how that affects the standing up motion, especially on the way through, you talk about in your videos, there's 3 things I hear you talk about that helps the body motion through the hit. You just mentioned one of them, the right hip being lower than the left on the way through, the right knee closing the gap, getting closer to the left or past the finish line of the golf ball, right, being a big one there. And then the right knee from this side staying inside the fence, right, or not getting over the toe line. And so if you did those bad, meaning the opposite of all 3 of those, the bad would be the right hip high, the right knee back, and the right knee forward. Right, high, back, and forward. Show us the good one more time. The good is low, right? See the right knees forward and in. And the bad one more. High, back, and out. And obviously when you do that, Craig, that's going to have an effect on how your upper body moves as well.
It's almost like a natural move, unfortunately, for so many of us out there. And this is a bit of more of a learnt skill, but at least we know that this is the right area to move into.
Yeah, I love it. A huge thank you to our friends at ShotScope for sponsoring today's video. Having information on the golf course is going to make you play better. ShotScope has a range of products so you can better understand your game. From advanced shot tracking devices with over 100 stats and insights on your game, to their accurate rangefinders and simple to use GPS watches for better course management. What I love most about ShotScope is they have the most accurate course maps in golf. Get access to their free mobile app for life when you buy any ShotScope product. Take fewer strokes and improve faster by knowing your game. Okay, Craig, so I've never done this particular drill version. I don't know where you come up with all this from, but this is really good. I like this a lot. So the stick, just to reconfirm, it's one club in front in terms of how far forward, 45-degree angle, and just kind of over like my left toes, comes to positioning here. And so I'm just making a little move here, trying to feel like my hands and my fingertips are getting there. Obviously, I'm feeling those couple keys, which is the hips and weight forward, closing the gap with the knees, and I'm feeling the right shoulder and arm under, right? So it's forward, down, and under.
Looks like Xander.
Looks like this, Eric and Xander, a couple of major winners. So this is my feel. I get that same sensation, guys. Obviously the bad version, high, right, back this way, forward, down and under, forward, down and under. Really, really good drill. All right, guys, just to reconfirm for those of you who are struggling with this standing up and how important it is to get these lower body motions correct. When I'm working through that, Craig talked about the right hip being lower than the left. This right hip being lower than the left has my left hip higher and deeper. Notice when my left hip is higher and deeper, what does that do to my upper body? Keeps me tilted over, right? Gets me this right shoulder low, keeps this inclination to the ground. When my right hip would go higher than my left, watch what happens. What happens to my left hip? My left hip works in towards the ball. What happens to my upper body? Standing up too much. So even just this right hip staying lower as I work through is such a big important part. I want to have the closing of the gap of the knees. You'll see the really good ball strikers Craig talks about. They get the knee in line with the golf ball before the hands get there. In fact, a lot of them, let's show Adam Scott, they'll get the inside part of the knee there by about the time the hands are like hip high, right? And that right knee working forward, not in towards the golf ball, but forward towards the target, helps get those hips turned, right? Again, helps us keep in posture. And the last little thing, right? So right hip lower, number one. Knees closing the gap, right hip towards the target, number two. And lastly, if we draw this line up the toe line, Craig says, don't break the fence, right? Don't have the right knee going forward of the toe line. We keep that inside of there. So when I combo those feels, right hip lower than the left, right knee in towards the left, and staying inside the fence, that'll help me keep my body down through the hit. All right, guys, so like Craig said, Xander Schauffele, me, pretty similar swing styles. Hopefully you want to get in that group as well. We just want to get closer to moving like these guys, right? Like all these good players as measured do these movements, not by accident, right? That's what leads them to hitting the ball great. Like Craig says, the closer we get, the better we hit. If you haven't seen Craig's videos, awesome channel, World Class Golf. We'll link that down below. If there are any questions on this stuff, leave a comment down below. As always, really, really appreciate you guys watching. If you want to watch more like this, check out this video next.